Dear student loans, thank you so much for helping me pay for college. How could I possibly ever repay you? No, but seriously, me and 40 million other Americans have no idea how to pay for this bullshit. Meet Benjamin O'Keefe from Mulan.org's The O'Keefe Brief.
Hey y'all.
This week we're doing something a little different.
Yeah, so since my show is all about politics, we figured why not team up and put the Decoded spin on some of the 2016 election's biggest issues.
A decoded party, if you will. So for our first team up, we wanted to tackle a huge problem here in the US. College debt.
Currently, around 40 million Americans owe about $1.2 trillion in student loan debt.
So here are 5 reasons why student loans are bullshit.
Number 1, college used to be free in America. For real. When America created the public university systems in 1862, the intent was to make education a government-mandated right. State-sponsored schools meant low or virtually free tuition for students. Unfortunately, that has obviously changed. In 1973, the average cost for tuition and fees at a private nonprofit college was $10,783 adjusted for the 2013 dollars. A student could work a summer job and make enough money in those few months to pay for an entire year's tuition. Today, it's hard to afford a few trips to Chipotle on a summer job salary.
Number 2, your tuition is probably funding some college administrator's Lexus. If you're looking for a life vest to save you from drowning in student loan debt, you might want to check your former dean's boat. And that's not just some imaginary analogy boat. Your dean can probably afford a yacht. As student debt rises, so do the salaries of university presidents. In 2011, the country's top 2 highest paid presidents each received more than $3 million. That's more than most CEOs. And those 7-figure administrative salaries are slashing funding for scholarships and other aid. In fact, schools with the highest paid presidents spend more on administration than scholarships by more than 2 to 1. To make matters worse, these gigantic salaries mean more underpaid part-time professors who don't even get healthcare benefits.
Number 3, student loan debt never stops following you, not even after bankruptcy. Student loan debt is kind of like a crazy ex who won't stop calling, except you can't file for a restraining order to keep it away. Unlike most loans, when you're underwater, even filing for bankruptcy won't really help you. If you try to file bankruptcy to reduce your student loans, you need to prove undue hardship, and it's not easy to do. A couple in California were forced to deplete their retirement savings to pay off their daughter's $200,000 student loan debt after she suddenly died, which is really messed up.
Number 4, it feels like loans are confusing on purpose. Like, do they want you to fail? The less you understand about the loan, the more likely you are to make bad choices in repaying it, racking up more interest and therefore making loan companies more money. No one gives you a guidebook on making good choices about loans, which is probably why 8 million Americans have defaulted on student loans. A default means you haven't paid your loan in over 270 days. But it doesn't have to be that way. There are ways you can protect yourself from default if you can't pay your loans. For example, you may be eligible for a loan deferment if you're a full-time student or if you don't have a job. A deferment just lets you put your loan on hold so you don't have to make payments. Another option if you don't qualify for a deferment is forbearance. A forbearance lets you stop making payments or make lower monthly payments for up to 12 months.
Number 5, private universities are corporations, not schools. As the student loan industry continues to grow, so does the need to treat students like consumers. And private universities are totally free to set their skyrocketing tuition rates at whatever price they want. Now, one of the reasons we're seeing tuition rates rise so high is because schools now compete to have the best rec center or football stadium, luxury dorm, or swimming pool. All things that have nothing to do with an actual education, but instead a consumer-based society. I mean, it's great if your school has a swimming pool, but when you get out of college and can't find a job to pay back the loans that paid for that swimming pool, then what?
Student loans are bullshit.
So how can you do your part? Tell your congressperson to stand up against the student loan debt epidemic and support debt-free college for every student.
Now, we want to hear from you. When it comes to paying for college, what's your experience been?
Are you thinking about going or skipping it for a different alternative?
Or maybe you're struggling to pay it off, like some people. Tell us in the comments below, and I'll see you next week for another episode of Decoded.
Bye.
In our last vlog, we talked about 6 phrases with surprisingly racist origins. Here's what you had to say. You know what, Rachel? I've actually really made an effort to not say crazy or lame or insane, and it's a lot harder than most people think, but I definitely think it's worth the effort. You know what, Karasu? This happens on all of our videos. Some people just decide that they're mad based on the title or what they think is in the video without actually watching, but I'm glad that you watched.